around, all right, who can we fill that void with, both in the draft and free agency? That's what's going to be the offseason content all year long, and any breaking news in between. So offensive line, you guys see who's on the picture here. It's Tyler Linderbaum. That's kind of our crush, right? That's the dude that we want more than anybody, right? And the tough part about this, guys, is we don't know if he's going to be available, right? We have no idea if he's going to be available. Will the Baltimore Ravens sign him? I don't know. Will the will he hit free agency and us be outbid and kind of we're outpriced with him? It's possible. But if he is a free agent, if there's somebody you're willing to overpay for this year, it's this guy right here, Tyler Linderbaum. So let's talk about the list of players here, okay? Right off the bat, we're going to go first and foremost, previous average annual value. Keep in mind, this is all offensive linemen. So you've got tackles and you've got guards grouped in here, okay? Previous average annual value, Braden Smith with the Colts, tackle, $17.5 million. Jonah Williams, right tackle with the Arizona Cardinals, $15 million. Joe Bitonio, guard from the Cleveland Browns, previously $15 million. Wyatt Teller, guard from the Browns, previously $14 million. Cam Robinson, left tackle for the Browns, previously $12 million. Rob Havenstein, right tackle for the LA Rams, $11.5 million. And now you're under 10 with Kevin Zeitler being $9 million. Isaac Seumalo with the Pittsburgh Steelers at $8 million. And then you got Connor McGovern at $7.4 million. Notice you don't see Tyler Linderbaum. Why? Because they hit on him in the draft, and Tyler Linderbaum was 3.3 against the cap. You're talking about great value for the Baltimore Ravens with that draft pick. That's the value of draft picks. Is in a cash over cap, league that we're in right now, where you're looking to void years and kick money down the road and really try to go all in right now. If you hit on a draft pick or two to have a great football player at a cheap price, boy, oh boy, is it beneficial. There's no doubt about that. So when we go back, let's pop back up to the previous average annual value, start back with Braden Smith. What does it suggest from the market value in terms of their previous contract? Who maybe underperformed when it comes to the comps? And understand, guys, that market value is comps of guys similar age, similar performance, four different players comp to the player we're talking about at their respective positions. Braden Smith, 17.5 originally, 13.5 now. Jonah Williams, 15 million previously, 10.3 now. Joe Bitonio, 15 million previously, 12.9 million now. Wyatt Teller, 14.2 million previously, 10.1 now. Cam Robinson, 12 million previously, 13.1 now. Of the top 5 players on that list, only one seems to have improved their stock. Whether another team overpays for them or not, the comp is suggesting, hey, their value has gone down from their previous average annual value, according to the market value comparisons across the league. That player is Cam Robinson. Again, I'm not looking for a left tackle. Goody may disagree. I want Jordan Morgan at left tackle. I've seen enough out of 4 games this year of him playing tackle. He was significantly better than playing guard. You spend a first-round pick on him. We're going to find out this year if he's the left tackle or not. Doesn't mean you don't go get depth. Doesn't mean you don't have a backup plan. But Jordan Morgan needs to be the left tackle so we can make that decision now. We may be 4 games into the season and go, he ain't the dude. And then you adjust, and whoever you're back, maybe you kick Tom over there and you put Belton at right tackle or whoever. I don't think they're going to do that. Whether Jordan Morgan plays bad or not, I think they will start him at left tackle. I expect him, me personally, I could be wrong. We'll find out at the end of the season. I expect Jordan Morgan to play better than Rasheed Walker at left tackle, just based off of the tape that I've watched and that 4-game saturation. Okay. So again, Cam Robinson's the only one. There's no interior offensive line in the top 5 that suggests you're getting better or equal value from where they previously were. You got to get down to 35-year-old Kevin Zeitler, $9 million, previously 9.2 now to find your first interior lineman. And then you've got the Seumalo, if I'm saying it right, Seumalo from Pittsburgh, 32 years old, 8 million previously, 9.6 now. Connor McGovern, 7.4 million previously, 16.2 now. Okay. So now you're getting into that range where you're seeing that's a center too, by the way, with Connor McGovern. So I could be wrong. We'll check out the market value next. Pretty sure that the market value is suggesting that he is actually in the same range as Tyler Linderbaum. Now, nobody's saying he's as good of a prospect or a player rather than Tyler Linderbaum, right? However, it is worth mentioning that the market value is saying, yeah, they're in the same ballpark. They are. Tyler Linderbaum, for example, 80.2 PFF grade this year, right? And then the guy that we were looking at just now, Connor McGovern, is the 9th highest graded center at 70.9. Okay. So it's a pretty significant increase for just 1 million more per average annual value. Probably going to be significantly more guaranteed money, I would imagine. Okay. So moving down now to projected market value sorting. At the top of the list, you guys see that name? Rasheed Walker is the top market value free agent offensive lineman out there at $20.2 million. Now think about this, guys. We got to take this into consideration when we're looking at potential replacements on the roster as Packer fans, right? And that's what we all are here. We're not experts. We're just Packer fans, kind of, hey, let's look at this from every angle. When we look at this list, if we weren't Packer fans and we had not watched Rasheed Walker every snap, all year long, if we not seen the mental mistakes, we'd not seen the breakdown in the most important game of the year, we hadn't seen him struggle in run blocking and all those things, would we be sitting here going, damn, Rasheed Walker must be a dog? You kidding me? He went from $935,000 to 20.2 market value. That's why we need to cross-check these market values with PFF grades and back and forth, right? Again, I don't think Rasheed Walker is a bad left tackle, but we're not willing to overpay for good. You're willing to overpay for great. I personally feel like Rasheed Walker was an above average left tackle. Okay. I wouldn't even really classify him as good. I definitely wouldn't classify him as very good. Now, does that mean he doesn't do some things good? Absolutely not. I would say he's a very good pass blocker. And that's why that market is so high for him, that premium there, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, next on the list, David Edwards was previously $3 million per, market value $19.9 million. Now I'm going to switch over to guards real quick and take a quick glance here at the guard position. And let's see if he pops up on the list. Again, David Edwards, 28 years old, from the Buffalo Bills, previously $3 million, 19.9 is the projected. And you go down the list here of guards, and boy, oh boy, I do not see him. Where is he at? Let's just go Bills here real quick. So David Edwards, right, is who we're talking about. No, is it David? Yeah, David Edwards. 70.3 is the PFF grade. Are you willing to pay a guard $19.9 million for a 70.3 PFF grade? Again, keep in mind, we just got through talking about Connor McGovern. I think he's grading out actually higher than that, right? From Buffalo. Actually, let me jump over there. Remember, 70 was the grade for McGovern. And when it comes to Connor McGovern, a 70 as well. So to me, that's a more important position than, guard that David Edwards plays. So when you look at these two, you can get Connor McGovern for $16.2 million as opposed to David Edwards for $19.9. I would choose Connor McGovern over him. Now, you notice we skipped over Tyler Linderbaum because we're kind of comparing two different positions at the moment. Tyler Linderbaum's sitting at 17.7. And again, we just talked about it, right? When you tack these guys together here in terms of the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills, which would you rather have at the center position, guys? Tyler Linderbaum at 80.2 and at 17.7 million average annual value, or would you rather go Connor McGovern for 1 million less, essentially, at a 70.9? To me, it's Tyler Linderbaum all day long, if that is his true market value, right? If Linderbaum goes out there and the market blows up and people are offering him 25 million per and this and that, probably going to price us out. However, if you look at what we're going to be freeing up, guys, if you move on from Elgton Jenkins, and I think we would all agree, if we decide to move on from Elgton Jenkins, that's why we're going to be in the market for a center. When you move on from Elgton Jenkins, you free up $20 million in cap space this year just with that one cut. So if you were going to be willing to pay Elgton Jenkins 24.8 against the cap was the previous plan. Now, was that their plan all along? Probably not. They planned on moving on anyway. But at that $24 million, would you be willing to go as high as $20 million for Tyler Linderbaum? Again, what's the rule of thumb? Bill Walsh, 101, constructing the roster when he was with San Francisco. You're willing to overpay for great. You're not willing to overpay for good. Is it a position of importance? It's tier 2 importance, center. If there's a player in free agency this year that I would be willing to overpay for, it's Tyler Linderbaum, hands down. No doubt about it, man. Sign me up. I would give him $20 million per. Now, what does that mean cap hit wise? You're probably going to get his cap hit the first year at about $15 million. Again, back up, compare apples to apples. Elgton Jenkins' cap hit was going to be 24.8. So you're now dropping that down by what, $9 million essentially? If you can get his first year, Tyler Linderbaum's first year at the $15 million cap hit we're talking about. More guaranteed money to make him sign for less, cash over cap, right? And again, cash, guys, that's the money paid to the player. That's the check, the signing bonus. The cap is the allocation of that money, right? Just because it's showing 17.7 million or his market blimps up to 20 million doesn't mean the cap hit's going to be 20 million. It's not. That first year, the way Goody structures contracts is typically lower, right? And then you get kind of the signing bonus money out of the way. Essentially what it would be with Tyler Linderbaum, if you sign him at 20 million per, it would be a 4-year, okay, 4-year, $80 million deal. And let's say you give him 30 million fully guaranteed. And I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm not saying that's what we should do or shouldn't do. But if you give him 30 million, essentially what it is you can be out of the guaranteed money after 2 years, and now you can move on and free up cap space. That's why it's important not to listen to the cap doom and gloomers out there that'll tell you ain't got no money, you can't make this work, right? So Linderbaum's at the top of the list. Connor McGovern, if you get outpriced by the Linderbaum and Connor McGovern, somehow, some way, his market value drops a little bit and it's like 13 million, that would be kind of a steal. Could you imagine signing a Connor McGovern to play center for you at, let's say 13 million per, and you get the cap hit in year one at 9 million? I don't think that's a bad move, right? But again, we need to get older on the roster. We need to get more veteran presence in here. Tyler Linderbaum is the upper echelon veteran of these offensive linemen, especially when it comes to the center position and more broadly interior offensive line. It's an important position. Go get his ass if he's available. If he's not, then obviously you're looking at Connor McGovern here maybe, or maybe even a Cade Mays. Like, let's take a look at Cade Mays there, center down there, 26 years old. He's got that going for him, right? So if we tack on Carolina onto this list here, let's see what we got here. Cade Mays, 61 PFF grade. So obviously, to me, that feels like you would be overpaying there. It would. Now, again, they're taking into consideration with the comps, I'm sure with the market value, they're probably taking into consideration, things of the sort of, sacks allowed, stuff like that, right? So it doesn't mean he's a bad football player. It might mean he's the Rasheed Walker, and I don't know this for certain. I'm not going to pull his card because I'm not as interested in Cade Mays, although he is young. That's appealing, right? But Cade Mays may be the center version of Rasheed Walker, where, man, he's a very good pass blocker, but he's cheeks in the run game. Is that what we want? Because, again, what was the biggest problem for our offense last year? The run blocking was horrible. And, again, some people blame it on coaches. I put a lot of blame on the coaches. Like, there's got to be something going on with Coach Butkus. I mean, ever since he took over as offensive line coach, it's kind of went down, right? But Brian Bulaga, former offensive lineman for the Packers, watches the tape every week with the Packers O-line. He's saying the coaches have gotten everything they can out of these guys. What's that saying? It's more of an indictment on Goody that, hey, you don't have a very good offensive line built right now. That's Brian Bulaga's take on that. So, again, not mine. But, yeah, so that's kind of how the offensive line are shaking out there. So, again, to just kind of fall back and talk about, potential game plan, we just got through talking about defensive linemen. If you guys are watching this video back, you can go – I'll try to attach that defensive line free agent video so you can check it out. We found two options there, right? What was it? Like Onyemata and Logan Hall. If you can get both of those, you can make that work with the cap, right? Now, offensive line, go get Tyler Linderbaum and take a couple swings in the draft. And I think you can really bolster that offensive line up. And who knows? Elgton Jenkins may test the market, and his market value may end up being $10 million. That's going to be factored into everything throughout free agency as well, right? So if that happens, and now all of a sudden Elgton Jenkins would fall on this list, that's the other thing too, guys. There's guys that haven't been cut yet that are going to end up being free agents. So we'll give you guys update as cuts roll in here when we get to the end of February or early March, whenever those cuts may take place. But what if Elgton Jenkins' market is only at $10 million? Now, what if you went and got Tyler Linderbaum to play center, and then you bring Elgton Jenkins back at $10 million and let him play left guard? Now, I don't think he'll do that. I think he's ready to move on, to be honest with you. If the Packers cut him and free up that $20 million, he held it. He was a hold-in at camp last year. Now, if we're his only offer and he wants to play football, he kind of has no choice, right? But I think he will get a little bit of attention across the league, I would imagine. So, again, if you go get Tyler Linderbaum, that's enough on O-line, in my opinion. I don't think you have to go get two guys. Defensive line is a little bit trickier because Devontae White, is he our three tech of the future? I'm not sold. I think he's our best 3-tech. I think he's our best defensive tackle right now. But you got him on a 1-year, $12 million deal, and he's 28 years old. Are you going to give him a 4-year deal based off what we've seen with the injury history and everything else? I don't know, man. I can understand if you want to, but no one's going to convince me that that's a slam dunk move right there. If that makes sense. So that's a look at offensive line. Again, if you guys are watching this video back later, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about the current offensive line free agent list? How do you feel about Tyler Linderbaum? Let's blimp it up and say $20 million per, with the first year cap hit being $15 million. Would you be okay with that with Tyler Linderbaum? Is it important enough of a position for you? Because to me, why did we lose to Philly in the playoffs 2 years ago? It was we got our ass kicked up front. We said we got to get better in the trenches. What did we do? Goody agreed. He went and signed Aaron Banks, and he went and got Anthony Belton in the second round. Anthony Belton graded out in the 40s according to PFF. Not saying it's everything, but I think we'd all agree he doesn't look like a great starting offensive lineman. Maybe he's poised to take that step in year 2. I hope he is. I think he's a fun player to watch. He's aggressive, right? Left guard Aaron Banks, it is what it is. As of right now, on February the 2nd, 2026, that was a big, fat swing and a miss by Goody. Now, if they decide to keep him, you have to restructure that contract. Aaron Banks is his number is at $24.8 million. And if you cut him this year, you're only freeing up $4 million. If you go post June 1 cut, you free up $18 million. Okay. So you got to ask yourself, what number would you put on Aaron Banks to keep him? And I got to be honest with you guys. The number I got is $10 million. It's going to take Aaron Banks taking a huge, huge pay cut in order for me to validate, or, to validate keeping him, I guess you could say. Now, we know Goody's been a little bit stubborn with this stuff, right? If he likes a guy, he's going to be on the roster. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. So it's going to be interesting. It is. But let me know in the comments, how do you feel about this offensive line free agency class? What move would you make? Make sure you hit us up in there. List the players that you like. Maybe you don't like Linderbaum. Tell us why you don't like Linderbaum. Hit us up in the comments. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. Click the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live in the future. So that's kind of a look at